Oh, the chat comes out from here. It's live already.
And we are live finally. So sorry, guys.
A lot of technical stuff. We're still trying to find the best stuff for the live for the podcast. But yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome to the Two Dogs, and we are very sorry that we started so late today. Technical issues, handling failure.
Well, yeah, it's handling failure.
Yep. So with us is the king and prince of failure, and we failed to even broadcast on time. We're horrible, horrible people, but you have no idea how difficult and technical this thing can get.
Yeah, exactly. Or the back of us is a nice white color screen, but in front of us is a whole mess.
One big mess.
If we mess of wires and all.
If we have B-roll, you can see the B-roll.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Huge, terrible mess.
Yeah.
So today's topic. So we're going to be talking about handling failure.
Yeah.
And well, really, it's something that all of us have to go through.
Unfortunately,
sometimes it's simple failure, and sometimes it's just a huge failure. Sometimes we even call it, a major screw up.
like this one.
Like this one. And it just keeps getting better and better.
It just keeps getting nicer and nicer. All right, so unfortunately in life, right, you need to fail. It's like children taking steps. They have to fall down. They have to learn. However, none of us like it. None of us love to fail. I hate to fail. Do you like to fail?
No. To be very honest, I hate failing. There's always a sense of being a total screwed up, and you feel that whatever that you've done so far does not bear fruit, and that's actually a horrible feeling to have.
So I think today we'll be talking about failure from the sense of an entrepreneur, from a sense of a business perspective. That means not failing academically or failing to get the girl that you want and all, but in the sense of failing in your career or failing in your business, especially in today's world, whereby it's post-COVID-19, post-lockdown. Most businesses are reopened. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses had to fold. They had to lay off workers. A lot of people have to, go without a job.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's never a great feeling. Never a great feeling.
Yeah. So I think what Dr. Ingky says is right. During this post-COVID-19, we see so many businesses, even established ones, phoning up, and we're not just going to be talking about them, but we're going to talk about the experiences that probably led us here in terms of failing. And I'm sure many people also would have had that kind of feeling before, whereby they tried to venture into something, but it didn't pan out the way you wanted to. And there are so many things that can happen.
Yeah, there is. There is.
And it can be even tightly linked to our last week's topic on depression.
Yes, I think it's probably a follow-up. So as last week when we spoke about depression, and after that when we went out for dinner and all, then we decided, why don't we do a follow-up topic on that? Why don't we talk about failure, And then we narrowed down failure into failing in the business sense. Because so that then we can have other topics to talk about. Then I can tell you about the time I failed. I failed in my school. That time I failed. I actually failed all my exams in medical school and all.
Okay, but we're coming back to today's topic, which is on failing as an entrepreneur, or failing in your business, or failing in your career. So Ingky, start the ball rolling.
Okay,
let's
I'll start the ball rolling.
Story.
So roughly about a year ago, I had to make a very difficult decision. All right, the decision was either to pack up my business, that means to close all my clinics and then to seek employment, permanent employment with someone, or to give it one last go. Now, that was the situation I was in on the dot a year ago from today. What led me there was a series of unfortunate business decisions. Was a series of unfortunate business decisions. So I'm going to give you guys something brief lah. So I started this whole clinic venture thing in 2014. So as you know, when you first start out, business is always slow. So it's expected, all right? So from 2014 and 2016, we slowly built up the business. And from 2016 onwards, 2016 and 2017, we were doing really, really well. You know, we had a return of investments. We paid off a lot of our machines. You know, we had bonuses for our staffs. So like all entrepreneurs, like all business people, we thought that, or I thought that this would go on forever. You know, I could estimate my income. You know, I could forecast my income for the next coming years, and I think that was the mistake, because towards the end of 2017, beginning of 2018, I saw that revenues were beginning to dip. So I used to see in 2017, I used to see on average 15 to 20 patients per day.
Wow.
So it was really good. I thought it was really, really good. 15, 20 patients per day. People would make appointments. They would line up. They would literally queue up outside the clinic. In 2018, suddenly it dipped below 15.
Wow.
So it's about 10 to 15. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, it's probably business normalizing lah. After the whole, you know, the viral thing went off. Yeah, it's probably business normalizing itself. Then we found that it was really a problem after a couple of months into 2018, when we first started seeing business dip, whereby patients started coming only 5 to 6 per day. So imagine this, right? 6-7 months ago, I was seeing 20. Now I'm seeing like 5 to 6 per day. So of course, you know, didn't know what to do. Marketing is all as planned. Lost. I was totally lost. So I decided, you know what? We're gonna do something else. We're gonna buy more machines. You know, we're gonna do more treatments so that we can then spread the revenue, so we can get other revenue streams.
You do what everyone told you to do.
Yeah. Mistake number one.
Yeah. You did what everyone told you to do, which is, if it's kind of a bit like you know, sometimes in the share market, when they said, when you're down, just keep pumping it in.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a risk.
Yeah, so it's a risk.
So go on with your machines.
Yeah, so we bought a couple of machines, and then we started marketing them. They did well for the first month. After that, again, revenue dipped. Revenue dipped tremendously. Then I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe it's not the machine thing. Maybe it's a geography thing. Because, you know, I'm located in Shah Alam. So it's a suburb outside KL. So you know what? Maybe it'd be better if I would open another branch in KL. So we decided, you know what? We have enough reserves. All right, we have enough reserves. We had 6-figure reserves. So basically, I'll give you a ballpark, maybe like 200,000 ringgit in the bank. You know what? We'll be safe lah. We'll be safe. 200,000 ringgit in the bank, minimal overheads. We are safe. Open a second branch. Open in Ampang. Paid off everything. Hired an additional doctor as well to run the KL branch, and then again, business did well for the first 1-2 months, because again, you're something new. When you're new, right, there's this sense of new stuff. You know, it's like McDonald's releasing a new toy, kind of
that euphoria.
It's a euphoria of something new. It's a new product and all. So your patients also want to come. Then at the end of 2018, I realized something is not right. Revenues are still not coming in. I'm burning through my reserves. I used to have 200,000. After I paid off here and there, maybe about 100,000 left. Then I was burning through my reserves. And then by beginning of 2019, I realized I only had less than 1 month of reserve left.
Wow.
And after that, I will burn through everything. And that was in February. So
1 month.
Yeah, 1 month. So imagine 2 years ago, right? I was riding high. I had a lot of patients, and 2 years in, I was down. Really down. I had 1 month left. So 1 month reserves left. So we did what needed to be done. We had to cut off the person that was taking the most salary, which was my other doctor. No, actually, it was actually my other doctor. So we needed to compensate her, let her go. And that only gave us additional 2 or 3 months of reserve. All right, because now I do not need to pay someone, you know, an expensive basic. I can then drag on for another 2 or 3 months. And yeah, most of the time I was just hoping lah, you know. I was hoping that things would pick up. So we tried different stuff. Again, same thing. We tried different treatments. We tried we didn't buy any new machines, but we tried to market different treatments. Basically, it was not what my patients were used to. And again, reserves dipped, and 2 years before that, we had a reserve of 200,000. In the beginning of June 2019, I had less than 4,000 in the bank.
Wow.
And that is hardly enough to even pay rent for one of my location.
Wow.
So it was really difficult because basically whatever we made on that particular day goes out to pay salaries and goes out to pay the utilities. You know, there was one time that Tenaga wanted to cut my electricity because I was late on payment for roughly about 2 months. And on top of that, I actually pissed a lot of people off because in order for business to keep running, I needed stocks. All right. So I begged suppliers to give me stocks. I say, you know what, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back. When things are much better, I'll pay you back. And some of the suppliers were understanding. They were understanding because they've been supporting me for the past couple of years. Then they thought, you know what, you were always on time with your payment. Okay, no, we allow you to delay a couple of months. Of course, came to a certain point whereby I couldn't pay for almost a year. And one of the suppliers actually issued me a lawyer's letter.
Wow.
Asking me to pay up. Yeah, demanding me to pay up. Say that, you owe me so much money, you need to pay up.
How's your feeling when you got the letter?
I threw in the dustbin, of course. I knew the letter. I knew who the letter was from.
Right.
I knew what was the contents. I opened up and say, you know what, we are representing this client and we want the payment. Give us a reply in 14 days. So all I did was rip the letter and throw in the dustbin. Don't do that, boys and girls.
We'll come to that later.
Yeah.
Separate topic.
Yeah. So what I did was, of course, I emailed them. I emailed these two suppliers.
Yep.
And I say, you know what, you still have to give me some time. You know what? By hook or by crook, I will try and pay you by the end of 2019. Now, this is in the middle of 2019. So imagine I already owe them money for a year already.
Wow.
1 year's worth of stocks for a year. And they say, no. I say, okay, if you don't allow me to pay at the end of the year, I will pay you in installments. Every month, I'll pay you a little bit. I'll pay whatever I can, whatever I have in excess, I will give it to you.
Yep.
But, don't shut me down.
Yep.
Because if you shut me down and if I liquidate, and I actually calculated the liquidation, if I liquidate, right, I will still owe you money because whatever I sell, right, will not be enough to cover the leases and the hire purchases and all. And yeah, those were dark times. I couldn't sleep for easily 100 nights. Every night I would wake up, middle of the night, I would just sit there and brood. Sit there at a corner of the room, thinking what the hell went wrong. And of course, then, I turned to alcohol. To try and ease the pain. Of course,
do that also,
don't do that. Don't do that. Turn to alcohol. Of course, it wasn't heavy drinking. It was like 1 or 2 drinks per night. But I used to only drink like maybe once a month. Now I'm drinking almost on a nightly basis. Yeah, so I'm drinking every night. I'll wake up depressed. So touching back to what we actually spoke to last week, which was depression and suicide. And trust me, actually suicide crossed my mind once. But it wasn't of, I want to take my life. But if I were to end this, what will happen? Then I discovered actually the debt just goes on. Now I don't have to pay, but my family has to pay.
Yep.
And not only do they now carry a financial debt, they carry an emotional debt now.
Yep.
They would then wonder, how come I never spoke to them? How come I never reached out to them? And they will wonder what went wrong. So then I realized that it was not easing the pain, it was passing the pain to someone else. And I decided, you know what, this is just a silly idea. I thought of it once, but I thought this is a silly idea. Then decided not to. So now, of course, we tried different things. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. Yeah, but more on that. So, Ali, yourself.
Well, I'm glad you opened up because last week you were so quiet with depression. There was no suicide ideation. I felt weird, like as though I'm the only guy who goes through depression, and you're like
I'm cool.
Peachy
No, lah.
perfect.
I can't say at the time because my wife was sitting in front of me. My wife was there. Then I thought myself the whole week, you know what? I should have been more honest.
Yeah, you should be
You
more
know?
honest. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. You know, with the two dogs,
Yeah.
you know, we share with random people, and our
Yes.
spouse gets angry because the whole week I got flack from my wife.
Really?
I didn't know you had this suicide ideation. I didn't know you're depressed. I'm like, okay.
Probably my wife is hearing for the first time as well now.
But it's good that you share, and I'll keep mine short, but because I've got so many business failures in my life too, and
What's the worst?
the worst. There's a few. There's two actually.
We have all the time.
Yeah. So one I would say was monetary failure, and another one was actually business relationship failure. And I think when it comes to businesses, both are equally important because you don't want to lose friends, but at the same time you don't want to lose money. And failing in both on separate occasions would probably touch some people out there who've been through this, just like me. So I'll cut it very short. I'll give the gist. So at one time, I was having 3 GP clinics, co-owned, all of them. So it's not fully on my own, but I co-own 3 clinics. And one of it was sharing between me, another doctor friend, and a contractor friend. And we did fairly well to set up in a new place. We scouted the place and we said, this is going to be potential. It's at Wang Sa Walk. In fact, the clinic is still there until today. And that time, Wang Sa Walk Mall has not opened. And we said, this is perfect location. People will come. And there's middle to high-end residents coming up. Their keys were about to be received. So we said, this is perfect. We come in, we took a franchise clinic, and we're going to open, and we're going to be the pioneers to cover this area that requires it. We set up the clinic. The clinic was perfect. It had even a doctor's lounge. It had an underground car park. Perfect. Then one thing bit by bit, everything fell apart because we were just 2 guys who were still actually technically working. So this was a part-time thing. So we couldn't be there to run the business ourselves. We hired someone else. They did the best they could, in fairness. So it's not really their fault. It's our fault for jumping the gun in starting the business when we were not fully ready. So we ended up every month having to bleed. We already came out with a capital, and now every month we had to bleed through our savings to sustain the business.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's about to embark on your entrepreneurship career or making to be a businessman or business person, businesswoman as your career, if you are solo, it's fine. But if you're going to employ people, this is the trickiest part. You need to pay the salaries no matter what. The salaries comes first. Then comes all your other debtors. Then only comes yourself. If you pay yourself first, that's the biggest crime of running a business. So we were being responsible. We paid everyone on time, and we were just bleeding through it. My friend was doing locums outside to make enough money to cover. I was doing locums outside to cover this clinic. We were doing locum in our own clinic and don't get paid at the same time.
Yeah, so that you don't have to pay the doctor.
So that we don't have to pay a locum at night. Eventually we couldn't take it anymore, and I had to take a personal loan to cover back everything that we lost inside. I took the personal loan to cover back that. My parents also gave me some capital, but that capital went to setting up the clinic. I took the loan to finish paying off the day-to-day and the debts, and we finally sold the clinic. To add salt to injury, the clinic is doing very well now. It was just wrong timing, like really wrong timing, but that's fine. So that's one. A second business failure I had was I embarked on a bit of a small project to run a small cafe with a friend. So she had the contacts of F&B.
Okay.
I don't. And we decided that we'll start a small venture in Bangsa. And we had a certain thing that we wanted to cater to people. We found a niche which is trying to provide affordable local food.
Okay.
In Bangsa.
In Bangsa.
Malay style.
Okay.
Affordable, but yet still in cafe style, right? We eventually got the chef on board, and it was a friend of my friend. And then we signed the lease. We started the renovation. Midway through, my friend left.
He left as in
Had
left
an
the
argument
business?
and
Okay.
left. Just went cold. I couldn't call her. I couldn't contact her. I was left in the lurch of starting a business with a total stranger who
Yeah.
I do not know,
Mm-hmm.
and it became quite a challenge.
Yeah, it's always,
Yeah.
it always is.
It's one of those stories, like it or not, in business, we're going to get screwed
Yeah,
one way or another. Sometimes it's even screwed by your own friends or even your family.
yeah.
But somehow we managed to turn the business and we started out very well. And like you said, every new business, there's a fantastic euphoria. We started, we did very well. And then it plateaued. Once it plateaued, then business was not doing well enough. We did enough to cover all the expenses, but the
Not
chef,
enough to pay yourself up.
I didn't take any salary. That's
Okay.
fine because I'm already
Yeah.
working outside, and this wasn't a very heavy expense. But the chef, and then we brought in another one of her friend, which was the F&B, sort of like the supervisor manager. They were very hardworking. In retrospect, my hats off to them. They were very hardworking. They start at 5 in the morning. They finish at almost 11 at night, and they couldn't take home their own salary much. They probably took home like maybe 500 to 1,000 max a month, and the rest of it just went into the into the
operations,
cafe and the
yeah.
operations. Eventually, we had to shut down because we were not turning enough and it was bleeding. But to be fair, we did fairly well. We came out in a few of the magazines. We came out in Hojia. We came out in
Nice.
what's that one? The KL.
Which one? The KL, what, Time Out?
Time Out. We
Yeah,
even came out in Time
KL.
Out. We were on Foursquare. We also came out in a few other travel spots. But we were just bleeding, and by the time we said, okay, we're closing up, guys, one more month to go, we hit record sales. I nearly wanted to say, let's just do a couple of more months of
Of this last
one more
last month. Yeah.
one
kind of
last
thing.
month to go. It reminds me of the business, the lighting business, Sing Hub.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
yeah.
it? No, is it Sing Hub?
No, a lot. Even you can always have a look like Harvey Norman. Harvey Norman's perpetually closing down still, but they never close. They're still there till now.
Still there until today, yeah. But I lost a friend.
Yeah.
I lost a friend, and while the business, by the time we sold off everything, the loss was minimal, but I lost a friend, and it wasn't fun because that business made me fail as a friend, or the friend failed me. One way or the other, it was a bit of a failure, and we had problems. We never patched up after that. But again, that's failure. You
Yep.
pick up from that, and you
Yes.
just have to get yourself back up on your
Yeah,
feet.
yeah. So I think the most important thing is people fail all the time.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's small failures, mega failures, and it's of course worse like if it's a mega failure
Yeah.
and it's a public failure,
Correct.
whereby everybody knows that you have a business, you know, and you are closing up. It's never easy to face a public failure, but I think the most important thing is it's all about picking yourself up
Correct. But
after you fail.
There's some quotes I got, and this is something I like. If we actually see that every failure there's an opportunity for growth, then things doesn't end up as bad as it seems
Yeah.
anymore. And I
Yeah.
think today what is important is that we want to say that failure is going to be part and parcel of business life.
Yeah, it
and
is, it is, it
part
is.
of life, but it's about growing after that. And if you did not had that moment
Oh,
of
yeah.
total screw up failure, you wouldn't be who you are today.
Yeah, wouldn't be who I am today.
And I wouldn't be where I am today
Yeah.
either. So it's fun to fail after a while, knowing that it's the
retrospect, it was fun. When
Yeah.
it was there, it
Oh.
sucks. So what happened was, so last year June, when I was down to like 4,000 ringgit in my
Yep.
bank account, that was when I really spoke to my wife and I said, you know what, I think I need to close up already. And then she said, you know what, why don't we do one last thing? You know, I said, why don't we do one last thing? And then I thought, yeah, why don't we just make one last gamble? And at the time, I was because I was down, so I was trying to pick myself back up. I was listening to all those motivational podcasts and all this.
Did you do the
all
fire
this,
walk?
no fire walk whatsoever. So there was this one guy who I always listen to because he talks a lot of social media marketing and doing something else totally different. So he mentioned, and this struck me. I've listened to that one line hundreds of times, but that one line never struck me.
Until that
He mentioned that his turning point was when he hired a videographer. Right? And he didn't even hire the videographer. The videographer came to him, emailed him a couple of times saying, you know what, I want to make videos for you for free to improve on my video editing skills, and at the same time I want the videographer wanted to grow his own YouTube channel, which had no subscribers at the time. So this videographer reached out to this guy who was at the time pretty big business person, but he wasn't famous on social media yet. So this guy saying, you know what, I just give it a chance. Like, no one else is making videos, so I'll just give it a chance. And at a point in time, somewhere in June, when I was driving back and I was listening to his podcast, and I was thinking to myself, you know what, why don't I also give it a chance? You know, since no one is doing videos, why don't I start doing videos on social media? You know, every other aesthetic doctors or dermatologists are doing the same stuff. You know, they're doing promotions, which I've been doing like for years. Getting promotions, getting celebrities to come in, and still not seeing results. So I decided, you know what, just gonna give it 2 months. Right, I have 4,000 in the bank account. I'm not drawing a salary. All right, at the time I could not afford to draw a salary anymore. So I was living off my wife. Thank God she makes enough to cover both of us. But I always made sure I would pay my staff first. Right. Beginning of every month, my staffs always get paid. All right. The only people I don't pay are my suppliers. So sorry to them. But I always made sure my staffs get paid first. Yeah, settled already. Right. So I always made sure I paid all my staffs first. And I decided, you know what, I have enough. I have 4,000. 4,000, I will advertise for a guy for 2,000 ringgit so I can pay him for 2 months. All right. So I went through a couple of interviews. I found a guy that I really liked. Then I said, you're hired. And the next day he called me. I'm saying, you know what, I don't think I'll be able to work for you. I was like, shit, never mind. Interview goes on. So I interviewed a couple more guys. All right. But on the day that the guy rejected me, someone else walked through the door.
Walked through the door.
Yeah. He literally came for an interview. So I was about to actually tell my staff, you know, we'll close all interviews because I already hired this guy. And
was that the guy you eventually hired?
Yeah, the next guy that came through the door.
Two guys walked through the door.
Yeah, so I eventually hired one guy. So and
I can't believe it. I couldn't even find one and they walked through the door.
But to be honest, right, there was actually a very simple reason why I hired him. Okay. Because he told me that he had all the gears. All right. Right, I have the cameras, I have the drones, I have everything. He said you do not need to buy anything.
Hakim, can you walk through the door and just walk past us?
So my videographer is there now.
Hakim, just walk past us. Just walk one round and say hi to everyone.
But he knows that he's not first choice. Yeah. He knows he's not first choice.
Hello, third choice, come.
No. He knows he's not first choice. However, my life has always been this. First choice never works out. It's always a second, it's always a third choice that comes in. Yeah. Oh, my wife is not the first girlfriend. Your wife is around. but successfully, she's the first wife, and hopefully it remains that way. But anyway, yeah. Videographer came in, and then we started doing videos.
We're just podcast friends, okay? don't take us too literally.
So he came in. We sat down and we started brainstorming for different videos. And a lot of people like to think that things took off immediately. You know, Moni started, you know, then business came back. No, that took a couple of months. To the point whereby I was thinking, you know what, I need to fire everybody. I need to close up. Then, because of consistency, what happened is one or two of the videos were picked up on social media, and then it just went viral in September or October. I think somewhere in September, end of September of 2019, some of the videos went viral. It went viral on all the social medias, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and then from there,
Just picked up.
Clients all
That
came
was
back.
the turning point.
Yeah, that was a turning point, and it was actually at my breaking point, at a point whereby I told myself, you know what, I can't anymore. I was very close to taking personal loans to pay up. I was asking advice from people whether I should approach banks to get loans, but seeing how bad my finances are, I doubt banks will actually loan anything to me, because I have ongoing high purchase leases. And I was thinking to myself, if I borrow from all these loan sharks, it will ease the pain now, but I will suffer for it later on.
Correct.
So I really didn't want to, and I didn't want to ask money from my family. Neither did I wanted to ask money from my wife or her family, because I think it's because of an ego issue lah. You know, there's one ego is one whereby I didn't want to show other people that I was weak and I was failing, because in their eyes I was doing well. You know, you have a couple of locations, you must be doing well. Everyone said the same. You must be doing well. Yeah. Nice smile. It's okay. You know, but behind the scenes it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay at all. So stuck in long enough, and then luckily managed to strike gold. And till now, I'm still thankful for it. I'm still thankful for it. And as you mentioned, for every failure, there was an opportunity for growth.
Yep.
So if it wasn't for that downturn that I had in 2018, 2019, I wouldn't have hired a videographer, then I wouldn't have the success that I have now. So looking back, it was necessary.
Yes.
But when you were there at that point in time, right?
Scary.
Yeah, man, it was
Very
nasty.
scary.
It was nasty.
I think it's coming as a family person, having your own family, having your kids. It's scary because when you fail, you're not just failing a business.
Yeah.
There's a large sense that you're failing your family also. So I hear you when you say it's a bit of an ego issue, not because of just how you say the eye muka or just your image itself. But there's so many things that's involved that even your family is dependent on you, or even if they're not fully dependent on you, there's still some contribution that you feel that we should be doing, but we're not going to be reaching out. But again, that can always be a separate topic that we can talk about. So, I mean, looking back, we're not the first to fail, and we're definitely not going to be the last. I mean,
definitely.
if Thomas Edison had to find 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb, who are we? We are just, doing very, very minimal work in this failing world. This is something very interesting that I managed to pluck out, and this is what is said as types of failures. And I like how they sum up it being preventable failure, unavoidable failure, and intelligent failure. So, putting it in perspective, preventable failure would be things that you've already, you shouldn't do it, but you still do it. For example, it's a bad gamble to go into, let's say, doing certain investments, all right? Or let's say if it was a technology whereby the pickup rate, we're not sure yet, and you don't have enough data to support that, you don't have enough experience from other people to tell you, yet you still do it. That is preventable. You shouldn't have done it, but you still did it. But the good thing about these kind of things, they are very high risk, which means if you strike gold, you strike gold plus. But at the same time, if you don't strike, it's almost always you're going to sink. Then there's unavoidable failure. You plan, and still it just doesn't go well. For example, you plan everything down to the dot for that perfect day out, and it rains. You can't do anything. And then there's intelligent failure. And this part which I want to talk about is intelligent failure, whereby you plan and there's a high risk of failure, but you've already planned. Option A, option B, option C, and there's an 80% chance A is going to fail, and I'll fall back on B. And B has a 10% chance of failure, I'm going to fall back to C. And even if it fails, then time to go D, E, F. You already look ahead and you plan in that sense. So like this one, this is from Edison himself. You know, you must learn to fail intelligently. Failing is one of the greatest art in the world. One fails forward towards success, which basically means for each failure, it should bring you closer to success.
Yep.
It's like playing basketball. If you don't get it into the hoop, then you need to find out what is wrong. Can't be the ball.
Yep.
Can't be the court. Maybe the hoop is not at 10 feet. It's at 10.2 feet, and therefore you're not getting it right. But even if that is already measured, then is it your stance, your arm, your eyesight, your force? Each time you fail, you move closer and closer to that success. Then you keep on repeating it till you find a successful formula. And I think that is probably one of the best things that you've done, which is you did not give up. You did not give up.
Well, nobody likes to give up. All right, nobody likes to give up, but it comes to a certain point where a lot of times you are forced to give up. But I think one of the main issues with in regards to failing is we don't embrace failures. We tend to make fun of people when they fail. We tend to worship people who succeed, especially if they succeed on the first try, or they are young and they succeed. You know? Nobody wears failure as a badge of honor. Because but we know that in order to succeed, you need to fail. But yet nobody wants to fail. So I always found it a little bit odd. Now, one of the things I found odd was I was reading this article about Silicon Valley, about the tech industry.
Okay.
And I always found them silly because they wear failure as if it's a badge of honor.
Okay.
It means that when they walk into an interview, the first thing that they will tell the interviewer is, I have set up 3 companies and they have all failed. And the company names are ABC, and they're all startups. And they will proudly say, Company A, we raise X amount of money. Company B, we raise X amount. Company C, we raise more. And all 3 fail. And yet, they'll get hired. You know, people hire them because they failed. And I always found it weird because probably the way I was brought up, you know, I was taught that you cannot fail. You know, you have to succeed because your neighbor's son is, you know, he's scoring so well in exam. He has a scholarship to this one university overseas. Why aren't you doing this? So we were always taught that, you know what, failure is bad. Then when I look at these guys in Silicon Valley in the tech industry, they wear failure as if it's like a badge of honor. You know, so for them, they understand that in order for them to create something, they need to fail multiple times. And their environment and their society allows them to fail. They're not ostracized, they're not stigmatized, you know, they're not saying they're not branded as failures. They're just branded as, you've tried it, it didn't work, let's do it again.
I think it's a bit of our culture. I can't say it's Asian because for all I know, maybe Japan is different. But if you were brought up that way, my upbringing in school is also very similar. We always talk about you have to pass, you cannot fail. And after you pass, it's all about the distinction. You're never great until you're an A. And even A, are you close? Then they look at the marks. Are you 99%, 100%? Are you a valedictorian? There's so many things inside whereby people define success as a measurable thing, and don't look at failure as a lesson to be learned. I'm not sure whether. What do you think? Do you think that should be something in school whereby we should actually teach kids how to fail and how to handle failure, and not look at it as, oh, I'm useless, I can't function, but more so to analyze, why did you fail? There has to be a lesson behind that failure that needs to be taught. Interestingly enough, while doing some research for today's topic, I recall a movie, Star Trek, the reboot Star Trek with Chris Pine. And they had a pointy ear, Zachary Quinto. So in that first reboot in 2008 or 2009, there's one part whereby they go through this test called the Kobayashi Maru test, whereby no matter what you do,
You fail.
you will fail. Your ship will get blown by the Klingons. Of course, Chris Pine, aka Captain Kirk, did some manipulation and he won, because for him there's no such thing as no win.
Failure, yeah.
There's no such thing as failure. But the purpose of the test was actually to teach cadets about losing your shit, about being in a no-win situation, having the emotions of knowing that you failed your crew, and that strengthens your resolve to be better, more empathic, or knowing that not all the time you are meant to win. I think first round when I watched the movie, to me was it's a stupid thing. Everyone should be able to win. I mean, you play video games to win.
Yeah.
But if in retrospect, looking back, I think that was something that could have been done and should be done, whereby they teach people how to fail, not fail as in purposely fail, but knowing that when you do this, you fail. So what? What's next?
Yeah.
Learn from it. And it, as people say, it's not how hard you fall, but it's how fast or how well you get up all over again.
Yeah. So coming back to your question, I think it's important for not only your family to help you when you fail, but as well as your people around you, you know, your friends, your teachers, your mentors, to help you. Then you dissect back why you failed, you know, what went wrong, why do you fail, and the next time around, what can you do better? But the problem, I think, I would say family and education is, if you fail, then you are deemed a failure. You know, they don't help you. Instead, what they do is they kick you to the worst class in the school, and whereby they lump all these so-called failures together, and you know, they just don't care about them. And then these people would then end up trying to fend for themselves, and you'd be surprised. Looking back, I actually know a lot of this so-called, you know, this rascals from school, you know, this black sheeps of the classrooms, never pay attention, always fail. They are actually the ones who are doing one of the best now as adults, because they've failed enough. They've failed so often, right? To them, every day they will call failures, to the point whereby they decided, you know what, it's okay. I'll just accept that I fail. I'll just try my hardest. I think it's even more difficult for someone who has never failed. You know, and imagine being brought up in an environment whereby you were the top student, people praise you all the time, they give everything. You've never failed, and once into your adulthood, you have a tremendous failure. And that would be a very bitter pill to swallow, because you have never failed, and now you're failing huge, you're failing publicly, you're failing big time. So we should teach them how to fail. You know, teach people at a very young age. Teach our kids. You know, even sometimes I will tell my kids, it's okay if you don't get it right the first time. It's okay. Right? Try it again. I can help you. But you must ask for help. I can help you. Ask for help. I will sit down with you. We'll go through what went wrong. I will teach you once and twice. Once or twice. But by the third time, if you still don't get it, then you definitely need some help.
Correct. That is actually a very, very good point about, you know, being able to fail over and over, but making it better and being able to analyze which way you go. Something that I wrote out just now. I think I'll probably add one. Instead of just fail once, fail again, and fail better, I'll probably say fail once, fail again. In fact, fail big. Then fail better. Fail better, because I think it's really important that one has to go through that bitter experience of failing. And you're absolutely right. Same thing in my school. I know those whereby they were sort of like the ones which were deemed hopeless. You know, cannot study, you don't have much hope. Please rely on your father's money to survive the rest of your life. Hopefully your father has got a good business that you can continue running on. How many times have you heard that story? Very often, right? And I know this senior of mine, 1 year my senior, and he owns multiple clubs in Melbourne. He's making money out of the students of where all the smart ones go to study, but the smart ones need to party, and he makes money out of their partying habits. And today he's just successful there. And I think that's what success teaches you. I mean, failure teaches you. Failure teaches you to be thick-skinned, to be able to handle public opinion, to be able to handle public criticism, to make you say, so what? And that is one of the attitudes I had after failing a couple of times. I've got this so what attitude in a positive way. The so what is not arrogance to say, so what, I can do it, ma. But it's more like, so what if I fail? Now, the next thing is, what can I do? How can I be better? And don't dwell on it. Most of the time, when we fail, we spend a lot of time dwelling about it. And dwelling up to a certain extent is important because you need to reflect what you did wrong. And next thing is to not dwell, but to start looking for solutions, asking for help, speaking about it. I think we are quite consistent in our all three segments. We are advocating a lot about speaking out, talking to people. Like if you're in the music industry, you gotta speak to people to find out why you're feeling as a musician, find out what people like, what they need, then we try to work around it. In depression, same thing. You're feeling in terms of your emotions, in terms of being able to control those emotions. You need some check and balance. Business today is the same. If it doesn't work well, you gotta start asking questions. To be honest, I'm learning a lot from Dr. Ingky in the sense of social media. I've tried the last 2 years, and we are okay, but it's not to the point whereby I say it's successful. So if it's not successful, it's failure in the success in the making, aka failing once, failing many times, still failing big. But I'm trying to fail better. Fail better doesn't mean you have a glorious fail one after another. It just means that the pain is lesser and lesser. You're learning more and you're failing lesser in those severity, but better in terms of your education wise.
For me, if you ask anyone around me, I always advocate work hard. It's not because I like working hard. Now, I like working because it's just because I like what I do. But I always tell people work hard. It's because for me, so-called success never comes easy because I fail all the time. I failed in schools many times. All right, I was kicked out of the uni once. I failed in my career before, so it means I've made blunders after blunders. As a doctor, I've made a lot of financial mistakes as an entrepreneur running my own clinic. Even in terms of social media, made plenty of blunders. And I have realized that for me, nothing works or nothing comes easy, and it never works out the first time around. I need to go at something multiple attempts. Then only from the mistakes I've made, looking back, then I can see, oh, you know what, I've made these mistakes, I should not do them again. So the next time I try, I don't do it. So again, from people looking in, I've met like yourself, I met a lot of friends. You're doing well on social media. Yeah, you're doing well because you're seeing now. You didn't see me a year ago. You didn't see me a couple of years ago. I wasn't doing well. What you're seeing is you're seeing a culmination of hard work over the years, falling down so many times that I lost count. But every time I fall, I have to pick myself up. I have to pick myself up, and I have to then continue. So it's not about. I always tell people, you have to work hard. It's not about, you have to put in long hours. Never about that. It's about trial and error. You try, it didn't work. It's okay. Try it from another angle. Of course, don't try from the same angle. It doesn't work. Try from a different angle. So even something. Okay, I just want to ask you,
Sure.
You have your LCP, right? How many times do you have to go for the exam?
3.
You know what?
I failed twice.
No, you know what? Same as well. I went 3 times.
Your wife is giving me the dirty
No.
look.
I went 3
Internal joke.
I went
You
3
guys will
times.
never get it.
No joke. I went 3 times. First time, I thought I passed. I've aced it. Failed. Never mind. Second time, did it again. I think I did better. Failed. The third time when I went for my exam, I did everything. You know what? Then I was telling myself, I'm second guessing myself. You know, I don't think I'll be able to make it this time around. I just handed the paper in. I passed. Then after that, I decided, you know what? Life's playing a very cruel joke on me.
Yes, life's like that. It's always when we are most confident that we fall the hardest, because we sometimes can get blindsided. But I think take it in retrospect, take it in jest, take it as a life learning lesson. And I think that's the same thing that happened to me first time. Oh well, mine was different. First time I went in, I came out, I was like, sure fail. That was planned to fail.
Well, that was a planned failure, so it's fine.
Because I didn't know what to expect. Then second time said, okay, study a bit more. But came out feeling, neither here nor there, failed. Then only I asked for help. And to credit a good friend of ours, Dr. Daniel Yap. So Dr. Daniel really helped me. And he's just full of confidence. Don't worry, you can get it done. Cannot. And sure enough, I actually passed.
That's
I'm
good,
lucky.
man.
But
That's good.
had to ask for help and put in a lot of work. And I like how you say work hard. A lot of people also say work smart. And I think you need to put the hard before the smart. Mainly because if you only work smart, it's good. But there will come a day when you need to work hard. If you're not ready to go down and do the hours and run the circuits, then no matter how smart you are, you're still aiming to not do very well. But if you work hard, then after that you find out how to make it more efficient and be smart. I would say that would be one of my take-home advice to people who wants to balance between the smart and the hard philosophy. Always be prepared to work hard no matter what. The smart is when you discover that pattern and you just make it better, more efficient.
I think a lot of people just want to try and hack the system. You know, a lot of times the people say that, you know what, there's a easier way to go around it. You know, we can, there are a lot of hacks to it. There's a lot of shortcuts. Unfortunately, when you take shortcuts, then a lot of times it's just a short-lived success. And you have to keep grinding at it. Unfortunately, you have to keep grinding. It's life, you know, life is never easy. If life was easy, right? If life was easy,
everyone will be millionaires. You know, then houses will be in the billions. Because no matter how much you earn, they will increase the price of houses anyway. A very, very nice term that I like to tell people when I'm doing some sharing is, if you really want to learn, if you really want to earn, you first have to learn.
Of course.
And learning a lot of times, unfortunately, comes from some setbacks and failure. They are the most painful ones, but they are the ones which should teach you the best. It's
you're right.
Kind of like kids and discipline. You know, the ones that just gets a piece of paper and say, this is your SOP to be a child. It never works. Then you get the one whereby you get scolded. Well, it works a bit better. Then you get a cane coming out. Oh, superb. Learn very fast.
True.
Yeah. The other thing that's also very important when it comes to failure, managing failure, is one form of failure is the failure to show up. A lot of people are so afraid of failing that they don't even want to go for it. You know, you're so afraid.
I understand.
That you say, sure fail one, no need to do la, no need to do la. Sure won't pass the interview one, don't need to go la. And then Hakim said, screw the interview, I'm just going to walk through the door, and third choice, I will still give my luck, and he got the job. He's a happy guy today. So when you don't show up, when you don't even put in the effort, you don't even have the hard work to just walk into that adversary or that risk or take that leap of faith, then you're never going to get success. You know? Because you were not prepared for failure. You have to always be prepared for it. One of the things also when it comes to like hair transplants, it's not easy. I'll be very honest.
Whatever you do, I'll be honest with you. I have learned hair transplant. I did a couple of cases, mega failure. Then I realized it's just not for me, because it's just so goddamn difficult. And then you have this guy here who makes his living doing that every single day.
But it has become fun for me. When I fail, I give myself 30 minutes to fail. And when I say fail, means just trying to discover what's the pattern on a person's scalp and the head. So once I find out the hair, then the rest of it is better sailing. Or if it's going to be hard work the whole day, it's hard work the whole day. I need to prep myself. But there's a lot of things when it comes to that. There's a lot of zen doing this so-called hair transplant. It's like playing golf. When it comes to golf, your buddy is not your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Your enemy is yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can play on the same course, same time.
Yeah.
The wind will change, the elements will change. Yesterday it rained. The last time it didn't rain. There's dampness on the grass. Everything changes. Even your mood changes, and that can cause you to have a different score with your golf.
Right. That's correct.
And that's life. Life is like a golf game, and that's why
that's correct.
The older people like to play golf. We all think that golf is for old people, for you to do business deal, do bets and everything. But there's a lot of zen behind that golf, because you play with yourself, and you are just there to challenge yourself. You're there to improve yourself, and chances are you may have a good game or you may fail. It doesn't matter, but it's all about you improving yourself on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's true. So in our industry, there's a lot of clinics. There are tons of clinics, especially in the Klang Valley. So I've had this conversation with a lot of people, people people that I know, and they always ask me, so why aren't you doing this? Your competitor is doing that, and I always tell them, I have no competitors, because I'm not competing with anyone.
Yes.
The only one competitor, or the only person I'm competing against, is myself.
Correct.
I want to do better. So basically, the following month, next month or following month, I want to do better than what I did now. I don't care about so-called noise outside. I don't care about what other people are doing. Now, when I watch my peers doing other things, it's not. I don't view it as competition, but I view what are they doing better than me.
Yep.
What ideas can I steal from them, and how can I innovate on their ideas after that? How can I make it mine and personalize it to my practice or to my business and make it even better? But I'm not seeing them as competition. I'm not saying, they're doing something, I'll do the same thing, but I'll give it a better price, I'm giving you cheaper. No, I never do that. I always just look at other clinics and say, okay, they are doing this, and then what, sounds like a good idea, maybe we should explore that, or maybe we should just innovate on that particular idea. So I will have staffs coming in and say, doctor, clinic A, clinic B are doing this, they're doing very well. I say, well, first of all, kudos to them for doing so well. Then I will have a look at it and see whether we can do the same or improve on it. Correct. If we can, then we do it. If not, then say, it's okay, we won't do it.
Yeah, we got a question from Liana that asks, any tips for young generation nowadays who wants to start their businesses, or young doctors who are looking to open up their clinics, or any healthcare services? I think let's answer it as a general business rather than just a clinic, because there might be more than just doctors or who are watching us. I think when it comes to that, it's all about planning. You first need to have a vision of what you want to do. What's your business going to be? Who is it for? Who are your target market? And plan ahead. Location, market, supply, demand, price, competitors. You have to plan. Don't go in just because it's a trend. There's a difference between plan and trend. When I say trend, will be like,
it's like boba tea, Boba
correct.
tea.
I was just coming to that.
Boba
tea is a trend. Milk tea, boba tea. I met someone recently who says that he's going to start a business in boba tea, and I'm like, but everyone's closing down.
Yeah.
But maybe he sees it as it's a resurgence.
Yeah.
Again, it's not wrong, because so many have closed down. And like it or not, people still like to drink that sugar-laden drink. Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know why they like it. Why do they like it?
Anyway, like it or not, sugar is the number one,
it's
the number one love of everyone.
Yeah,
it's the number one drug. Yeah, so maybe he sees it as an opportunity to come back. Again, there's no wrong, there's no right, but know what you want to do. Then next thing is, you have to know how much hard work you're going to put in.
Yeah.
If you're going to open boba tea, of course, it's a bit so-called easier because everyone knows about it. You don't need to do so much of marketing, but then you need to be different. And differentiation in business is probably how you can help to avoid failure. If you're just going to do the same as the next one, then why would anyone come to you? If there's no other reason, then you start doing price war.
Yeah.
You drop price.
Yeah.
You drop price, there's only a few ways going to go. Either you drop quality or you do less.
Yeah.
And you work harder. If you work too hard, you will burn out.
Yes.
Then you said, let's drop quality. You drop quality, eventually
And
people will start
business.
coming and you lose the business. Eventually you fail. So anyone who probably wants to start a business, do that planning. In fact, do that planning and think of why it will fail and do a root cause analysis. Or for anyone who has even failed, do a root cause analysis. The simplest one I like to use is the 5 whys. Heard of that, right?
No,
5
first
whys.
time. Why?
Okay, so 5 whys just basically means you ask yourself why 5 times. So for example,
Okay.
I failed in my cafe. Okay, so first thing I'm going to ask is why? Why my cafe failed was because we were only serving cakes and sandwiches.
Okay.
So why is that important? Because not everyone wants to eat. See, second why. Why is it important? Why should we not diversify? Because there's only so much of cakes and sandwiches you're gonna have. You can't eat it every day.
True.
And even if you wanted to eat every day, but chances are you'll come with your family who may not want to have it. Can you imagine your dad eating cakes and sandwiches every day?
No, my dad hates
He'll go in
cakes.
and he'll say, where's the rice? Where's the noodle?
Yeah.
Correct or not?
That's right.
So we didn't do that. So I asked to diversify, we didn't do it. Then we go back. Why didn't we diversify? Then it came down to the philosophy of the chef that says, no, we are a sweet shop. And therefore, we're not going to do that. So now we got that issue. Then I asked, but why? Why should we do it then? Then the ultimate answer came, timing. If we open now, maybe the timing was better. We opened at a time where Subway just introduced within a year that $6.99 sub of the day. They were doing better than O'Brien's, whereby the sandwiches were hovering 15 to 25 ringgit.
Yeah.
Subway killed the market by doing $6.99 sub of the day, but you can always order anything else at the normal price.
Yep.
And we came out a year after that promo with our sandwich bar, our sandwich/cake shop that was selling very good sandwiches, but at 12 to 20 ringgit. Timing. So when I do my root cause analysis of 5 whys, if I sum it back, wrong timing, serving things that did not hit the correct market, that did not appeal to people who are going to pay, which is namely the parents, and because of a bit of an ego issue, and therefore we fail in our business. 5 whys. Generally, a lot of things when you do the RCA, the root cause analysis, the 5 whys work very well to look back, but you have to be very honest in answering it. Even if it's a self-ego to us, answer, I think I was just too proud to not do it.
Yeah.
Then you know. Then you write it down, then you can move forward and manage your failure, and hopefully the next time you do it much better.
Yeah. For me, when it comes to business, I always, as you mentioned, you must be unique. So the first thing is, what is your unique selling point? What is your USP? Why are you different? Even as simple as selling boba tea. How is your boba tea different than your competitors' boba tea?
Yep.
As you're mentioning, is it cheaper? If it's cheaper, then means that you are skimming on the quality. Do you have flavors that other people cannot replicate, or is there a particular flavor to your boba tea whereby it's just so unique whereby everyone has to have them? From experience tells me you need to have a unique selling point, and if you don't have and you start copying others, and that is usually the start of something bad. Because then when you start copying others, you are no longer unique.
Yep.
And when you're no longer unique, as you mentioned, you cannot ask people to come to your business, because you can't even tell people why is your business so different than others. Correct. And then if you can't answer that, then people wouldn't come. So the first thing is to have your own unique ideas. Of course, you need to do a little bit of market research. See whether the people around you are receptive to that particular idea or not. Then of course never follow, never follow trend, never follow people. Have your own unique selling point, and you have to work through, and always if it doesn't work out, change.
Yes.
When you're in business, you need to change.
Yes.
So you've opened up the first month, second month, business isn't doing well. You need to sit down, you need to reevaluate your business model, and then you might have to change your business. Change maybe from selling boba tea, sell something else. Repurpose your business easily, repurpose your business to do something different. And for all you know, doing that one different thing actually makes you stand out.
And also, I think at closing up, when it comes to business, when we say uniqueness or unique selling point, it doesn't always have to be a new product.
Yeah.
Like it or not, boba tea is
it's not new.
I remember boba tea, my earliest memory would be 96.
I remember I was in the Pasar Malam when I was in the 90s.
Yes. So 1996, that's, that time when I was already first exposed to boba tea. And it's the same thing. It's that it has the pearls, it has the tea, and it comes in that cup, it comes with that really big straw. And it's just the same. But things would change. So when we said uniqueness, doesn't mean that product, but then comes the flavor, then comes the concept, then comes the idea, then of course comes service. I would say anyone who's going to business, at the end of the day, service is probably one of the biggest factors.
Yeah, it is.
The pre-sale service, the sales service, and the after-sales service, which a lot of businesses fail.
Yeah. I think that can be our next topic, after sales service.
Oh, that's a huge topic.
A huge topic.
We can just talk about my mobile phone provider and they'll come and sue me, but I don't care because they are horrible after-sales service.
I think just last week I had a horrible after-sales service, and I actually literally told the guy off. I told him something along the line like, I think you're having a very bad day, but please, you're making a bad day for both of us.
Oh, wow.
I actually told the guy off over the phone. All right.
But that's a good line.
Yeah.
That's a good line. That's very diplomatic. Yeah, that comes with age.
Yeah. So to sum up, you have to fail. Unfortunately, like it or not, failure is part and parcel of every day. Nobody likes to fail. I hate to fail. I always joke with a few of my close friends. I always say my greatest strength is failing. However, my second greatest strength is picking myself up after I fail.
And I actually wanted to plug a video clip, but I had not enough time. But for those who want to know what that really means, go YouTube and look for Muhammad Ali being knocked down. He's only been knocked down a couple of times, but each time when he gets knocked down, he gets up before the count of 4, and he gets up with full of energy. It's not like our Rocky movies, our what's the other one?
Which one?
The second generation Rocky with the young guy with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, with the Michael B. Jordan and
whereby they'll get up on the count of 8 or 9 or about to go 10 only you want to get up. Life shouldn't be so dramatic. It should just be quick, down, get up fast, and then let's look for the next solution.
Yeah.
So we're going to sign off now, and we are going to see what kind of topics we're going to be speaking about next week. We've got quite a few from after sales service, after sales service, or even we can even expand on learning from failures. We can even talk about personal bankruptcy. Which is a very interesting topic.
That would be a good topic.
Give us our thoughts. You can tag those who know us. You can text us. If not, just drop us a line, and then we would get the topics ready for you.
All right. So from myself and Dr. Ali, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.